Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you to the MIP TV team. This is a pivotal moment. As you all know, I am the CEO of Comedy Gives Back. We partner with comedic talent across platforms to raise money for charities. This is a big deal. Last year when we launched the MIP Digital Fronts, it was the first of its kind and on an international scale. And what we found out were acquisitions, very big acquisitions of companies in the digital space, as well as international deals. And this year, we are finding television and movie deals, and now the MCN has moved into a media company. So we are going to take a deep dive into all of that. And as Lorraine explained, we will have several presentations right now, one with Maker, one with Machinima, and some keynotes with Vox Media and then Zay Frank from BuzzFeed. So stick around for it all. We may have a little break in between, or we may just go through it all, so hunker down. And there is a mix and mingle tomorrow at 1 p.m. And we start the day at 10 a.m. with YouTube. So I know you want to get to these superstars of digital first content. So put your hands together for RENÉ RECHTMAN of Maker Studios.
Thank you, Amber, and thank you, MIP, for inviting us again this year. As it is about digital first, and it's about our social rock stars, I thought instead of me presenting for 45 minutes, I actually think we should invite them up on stage and make it interactive from the beginning. I'll share a little bit my thoughts, involve our talent, and hopefully have time to involve you guys throughout the presentation, right? So, let's get our superstars on stage. Please, come all of you. Bart Baker, Mr. Kate, and ALPHACAT. Thank you.
Hello, darling.
Nice to meet you. Wait, do I kiss your other cheek too? Look.
Mr. Kate. Why Mr. Kate?
Wait. Is this my mic? Hang on. Hello. Yay! Why Mr. Kate? Well, I'm a man. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a man, actually. But people ask me that a lot. Well, our brand, it's called Mr. Kate. It's an omnimedia lifestyle brand, and we inspire people to think outside the box when it comes to style and design and beauty. So I don't like labels. I think labels should be broken. I think you should define your own life. So I gave myself my own name, Mr. Kate.
I love it. Great.
Yeah, that's
IMAN.
the spiel.
ALPHACAT. Where's that coming from?
Hello, everybody. How's everyone feeling? Good? Okay. ALPHACAT comes from, I have an affinity for lions. Lion is my favorite animal, and the lion is the alpha of all cats. Also, cat is slang for guy. So there's a double meaning there, so pretty much. If I was an animal, I'd be a lion, in my own opinion, so yeah.
No doubt, yeah. Bart.
Yeah.
Bart Baker.
Bart Baker.
Where's that coming from?
I had no idea. I needed to come up with a name, so I just used my name. Bart Baker. I thought it sounded good. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for naming me like that. It was catchy. They wanted me to be actually a newscaster, so they named me Bart Baker, but it turned into a YouTuber. So.
Yeah. It could work good on CNN, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Bart Baker, what's the weather today?
Totally. Yeah, maybe.
True. Listen, last year when we were on stage, we all talked about there's a revolution going on across the value chain. From how we discover talent, how the talent are producing content, how we're distributing, and how we're interacting as audiences with the content. And I think we have reached a tipping point. I think it's a reality beyond discussion now. And I think if you go back to last year and look at the numbers I presented, I think I presented that we created more than 4 billion video views, which is already crazy and an enormous figure. But if you look at today, I think our latest number was past 11 billion video views, right? Past 650 million subscribers. I mean, we're talking about numbers that are completely changing the way we think distribution and interaction with content. So it's still, you know, a discussion point, is this big or not? But forget it. It's so huge now, and it's basically driven by a generation that we call the millennials. We have talked about millennials for a very long time. And interesting enough, right, when we start talking about millennials, the definition was, I think, 12 to 34, but that's some years ago, right? So now we talk about millennials are probably the generation that touches in the late 30s. I mean, Oman, ALPHACAT, right? We talked yesterday evening about your audience, and you surprised me. You said that your audience is a bit older than the traditional association you have with YouTube audience, etc. Can you tell us a little bit about the demographic of your audience? I know you're working across channels. I'll come back to that, but on your main channels.
Yeah, it's only slightly. For YouTube, the major demographic is 18 to 34, about roughly. Vine, it's 13 to 17. But it's what I think is a lot of my audience has grown with me. I started on YouTube back in 2005 is when I logged on. So it's still all a roughly really young audience. When I'm stopped in public, it's mostly kids. But I think a lot of my audience has stuck with me and grown with me. So yeah, but yeah, it's different between YouTube and Vine. YouTube, it's, you know, when we say older, we're still talking 20s. But for Vine, it's, you know, teens, you know. So it's a bit of both.
Interesting that you're mentioning platforms. I'll come back to that. But Vine is very much supporting my thesis that content is getting shorter and shorter, right? I very often talk about snackable content, meaning we had in you know, the 80s a revolution in our part of the world of how we consume food, right? We went from the 3 meals into snacking food all day. It was due to some industrial changes, urbanization, and a lot of other things, and that industry, snacking, is huge for the food industry, probably bigger than the 3 meals. And I think we're seeing something similar here. We have the long-form theatrical, we have TV, and now we have under the 22-minute content that we snack because we're in a situation where we have a structural change, right? Technology allows us to snack content all the time. Devices that we are carrying on us all the time give us that opportunity as well. And the new platforms that are basically giving us the ability to go in and out, constantly be on the peak, and not have the valley peak storytelling, and seeing content in a very short format. And when we talk about the different platforms, what is changing all the time is the amount of platforms out there that are going in to compete for owning the audience, because that's going to be key. Have the direct relationship with consumers going forward, like all these talent here have. I mean, Bart, would you like to comment on that? You know, being in direct relationship with your audience all the time and knowing your audience better than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, especially YouTube is, the audience just feels so connected to the person. So there's a lot of channels, like mine's different because I do music video parodies, so it's more produced. But there's lots of channels that are literally people just talking into a camera, and they get millions of people following and interested in just them because they feel connected to them. And you have to address your audience constantly on YouTube. You have to make them feel like they're like part of a family, because that really helps keep people coming back, and it helps grow your channel as well. So it's important.
And I think, you know, us as content producers and you guys in the audience, we need to think that it's developing so fast, right? We have new platforms coming in and giving us the opportunity to talk directly to our consumers. And we need to take advantage of those. And we know that before I introduce some of the content that we are creating and you're creating, Oman, then I would like to really stress one more time how you're working across platform, across devices. It's quite interesting from, let's say, a year ago, 2 years ago, was very focused on YouTube. We're seeing now that you're migrating from one platform to the other. And Mr. Kate, I can also talk about that in a second when I introduce you. But it is very, very clear for us now that talent are traveling between platforms and work where the audience is, right? And you have different formats. When I introduce you, Oman, I normally say you are a comedian, but we talked about it earlier, say, you know what, René, you should say, I'm an actor first. And I think you are, right? And you're a great actor, right? And it's part of your vision and your ambition. Let me share some of the stuff that ALPHACAT is doing with you, and then you can comment on it yourself where we're heading from here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, IMAN CROSSON, aka ALPHACAT. My fellow Americans, let me be clear. This is President Barack Obama.
How did you come up with that idea?
People like music, and people like Obama. We just need a jump.
Oh, you got Instagram?
Yeah. Oh, give me the name. We about to be instant buddies. Complaining about all the prices, damn you mad loud. Spending hours on that endless shrimp, close your mouth. Are you getting this?
Oman, would you like to comment on
the
authenticity of your content and what kind of content is it that you're doing?
Okay, it's a culmination of a few things. I do comedic parodies, sketches, and I'm known for my impression of President Barack Obama. That's what really blew up my social networks. I've been to the White House twice with the president. And it's really been a journey for me because I started out waiting tables like every actor. And, you know, I'm just in a very good place and happy with what's going on. So my content is just typically very family friendly and just observational humor for the most part, so.
And I think that that's touching a point that should be a very important takeaway from today. It's all about trust, being authentic, and communicating with your audience in this digital age. You cannot hide things, right? Whether it's scripted or semi-scripted or non-scripted, you need to be honest, right? You need to be authentic, and I think that's a very important part. Mr. Maker, Kate, I would like to introduce you as one of the most creative people I've ever met, right? And a lifestyle guru. Cool. And I think before I show some of your content, it'll be interesting to hear how did you get started?
Well, I mean, it's interesting talking about acting because I actually started in a traditional media form as well. I got the acting bug in high school and I was acting in my early 20s while I was going to college. And, you know, acting in LA is a lot of auditions, sitting in your car, and then when you do work, it's great, but you're working for other people's creative projects. And I found myself kind of almost A-typing too much when I was working on acting projects because I wanted to be more in control of the creativity. So that's kind of how the Mr. Kate blog was born. I've always been interested in art and design and style and all that stuff, so I started the blog to sort of chronicle those things, and then started the YouTube channel to just have an on-camera presence as well and sort of exercise my acting skills, and also I was a film student, so I enjoy bringing a film quality or high quality production value to the YouTube videos, which is what we do on our channel. And so, yeah, it just kind of blew up from there. I didn't really realize that there was such a healthy community on YouTube. I wasn't really aware of it. And we're across all platforms. As you were mentioning before, I snack a lot with my consumers and audience. And then we also have a product line as well. So we really view the Mr. Kate brand as an omnimedia company. So it's not just content that we're creating, we also have products, because the lifestyle, inspirational stuff that we do, which is interior design and style, it innately just taps into a consumer side of people. So it just makes sense to continue to explore product lines within all the areas that we cover. So
should we see some of your content?
Please. Let's watch me. No, I'm not an egomaniac, I promise. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit. Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Mr. Kate. Welcome to my channel. DIY YouTuber, blogger, designer, and now I am adding author. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of DIY. Wow. Things around here can get a little off balance. Oh my God, look at my hair right now, guys. I am a hot mess, but boy, do I like making beautiful projects. On my own, I am strong, I am finally where I belong. On my own, I am made it a long way from home. On my own, I can do anything.
I think another takeaway is not only the charm and intelligence and creativity of our talent, but it's also the influence. It's insane if you start looking at the influence they have. It's those of you who remember when we started the whole digital revolution and search came up and affiliate marketing and all these things, it was to create an efficiency in the value chain of shopping. We all went online, we were looking for cheap flights or hotels or buying food. It was all about creating efficiencies, right? What is happening now with these phenomenal creative people is their passion points, their direct connectivity to their audience, right? Their daily conversation across platforms to the audience creates such a power that is beyond belief. Right? I'll share with you from the latest 3-4 months some of the things we have done. We had a charity. We did one of our gamers was signing some Razer headphones. Within 24 hours, they were sold out. Right? It's phenomenal the power that they have in that situation. Skate 3 is a 4-year-old game. PewDiePie played it online, and EA had to reproduce it, right? Zoella's book that came out before Christmas was the fastest selling book ever, right? So the conversations that I have now, together with our talent, with brands, is about how can we connect that passion, that trust, that authenticity, and that direct connection with audience into business. And that's quite important, and it's a very important takeaway, and it's something that's not solved yet, but it's a huge opportunity going forward. I think we have talked a lot about the storytelling part in our conversations, and I think the way we're telling story now in this new media are different. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Storytelling? I mean, everything is... Nobody has attention spans anymore. I think that's one of the most important things to remember. Stuff that does well and needs to be short, and it needs to keep someone constantly like there. Like if they get distracted by anything else, they'll pick up their phone and they'll be on another video in 2 seconds flat. So it's just like it's so different than even TV shows, which are 22 minutes, right? So, and commercials. It's like people sit down. Honestly, like my videos are 3.5 minutes because they're music video parodies. And even that, people will get bored by like 2.5 minutes unless something crazy happens. So, we always throw in a crazy twist around that time so the viewership doesn't fall off. But that's, I think, the storytelling aspect is just things have to happen quick.
I think you're spot on, and I think the opportunity is also that this is a new medium. It's not just long form, oh, okay, let's make it short, right? It is a different way of telling stories. We cannot have the valley peak, we cannot have the build-up. It needs to constant. be on the peak, right? You heard Bart himself was doing some of the most funny videos and parodies you can imagine, but if he even can't keep people alive for more than 3 minutes, you know, it's serious, and we have to think about it. So it's not just long form short. That's another takeaway I think that is important. And if I share some data over the last few years, we can see that it actually goes down from being above 5 minutes a few years ago. It's going down now to be 3.5, 3.7 minutes, and that's quite significant. And I'm sure if I ask you a question, and I do now, and you're welcome to answer, if I ask you, how long is the content viewed for mobile devices on Netflix today? Right? Anyone know in the audience? You're welcome to scream. 4 minutes, 43 minutes? It's not bad, I mean, saying 4 minutes, but it's actually around 10 minutes. And that's, I mean, for me it was quite surprising when I look at those stats, right? So it is real, and we need to get used to it, right? But it's a great opportunity. Bart, you're the last one I haven't introduced, and I don't think I'm lying if I say that you're king of parody.
Thank you.
Right? It's phenomenal. It's everyone from, you know, young teens to old teens, like myself, that enjoy your videos. And I think before we talk more about you, I think we should really show the audience one of the videos. I'm sure that the audience is familiar with what you do. You have more than 5.7 million subscribers. You're bigger than most TV stations out there, right?
Yeah.
So let's watch one of your parodies, and just to make it clear for you,
this has been edited, by the way.
We have edited it to make it kosher enough to show here.
They had to get rid of all the dirty parts. So.
It's even funnier in non-edited
It doesn't
edition.
make that much sense, but it's still funny right now. But
you don't need to excuse it. It's great. Let's share it.
Dog. Do 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 dog. Do 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 dog.
This song is lazy. It just rips off the 80s. Bruno, please sign this check to buy a car. That's a rap. Which will dance round in the street without getting in it. Can I please dance with you guys now? No more crossing, you keep sitting. Girls walking by, ignore us. Walk by and just ignore us. This song is no chorus. True. It's just me and these focus clipping. Looking into the camera clipping. Something cool is about to happen. We're gonna dance with the cameraman. Spins the camera around. Spin it. Marco trying to get down. Time for rumors is done. Yes, I have one more son, and the world will be stunned. Tell her you are the one. I'm your
So even the edited edition, I did enjoy.
Well,
Bart.
thank you. Michael Jackson just shows up out of the blue, so and there he is at the end.
So he's not even dead?
No, that's really him.
Okay.
That was him.
I understand. All right, I think we should maybe go into a dialogue and discuss what is next. What does it all mean, right? I mean, I have ideas. I'm sure you guys have ideas, but it'll be really interesting to hear your ideas. You know, what does it all mean? The tipping point is here, and where are we going from here? Bart, I mean, why don't you start?
What does it all mean?
Yes.
This is a very broad question. I don't know. I mean, honestly, as far as I don't know where to start here.
And that's fair.
Give me some direction. What does this all mean?
What does it all mean? What does it mean for the industry?
For the industry, well, for the industry, everything, like I said, everything is totally changing, and everything is being viewed digitally on phones more than anything, actually. it's all mobile. I'd say like 70% of my views are mobile. So I think everything it's constantly on the go, no matter where kids mostly are, they are viewing content on their phone. They're not even looking up. They're running into people while they're walking down the street because they're watching these videos constantly. They're watching Vine constantly. They're on Snapchat 24/7. Snapchat is like the most engaged platform, honestly. People are just obsessed with it. And it's also, like I said, everything's short form. So I couldn't even tell you the last person I talked to between 14 and 24 who said that they, you know, sat down and watched a 30-minute program. You know, it's just all so short. And like I said, I think that's a huge change, and it happens so fast. And you know, what's gonna happen next? It's gonna be like a Vine for 1 second long, right? So we got 1 second to make you laugh, but I don't know. What do you think, Iman?
What does it all mean? That is a broad question. But I think what it means is that artists and creators are in a different position than they were some years ago. You're in you've always been in the driver's seat, but now you have even more control. You have way more control. And I think that the more that you're able to understand and use that control, you will be more powerful with what you do, with your content. Anyone can like put out videos, but then to turn it into something where you have a book where you can publish yourself, or where you can like publish your own music, you know, or you know, I can get into auditions because they know who I am I can get roles without having to audition sometimes. If you take what you do, if you take your craft and push it, you can get way more results out of it than the traditional route in most cases, in most scenarios. So I think what it means is that the power is in the creator's hands. It's in the creator's hands, period. Like, flat out, done and done. It is what it is.
And how does it influence the industry that you're touching upon, your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, I mean, something that I always talk a lot about is transparency. I think that even though, you know, people kind of are down about kids nowadays, they just watch their phones all the time and whatever, but there is a level that is like a deeper level of connection with people. I think that no matter what, you know, media and content that we've consumed over the decades has been about the relationship, right? You're watching things that you can relate to. So this is just a new kind of relationship that we can have with people because we're one-on-one with them. That's really what it feels like for our audience, that they get to communicate directly with us. So it is, and that's what we're constantly just doing with snapping and whatever. I mean, we're super transparent. In this day and age of reality TV and gossip magazines and all that stuff, I mean, people's cellulite is on the cover of magazines. So we're going to talk about farts and not be ashamed about it, which, I mean, I talk about farts.
You really just said that?
Yeah, you know. Sorry, Can. I said fart and can. Okay. But yeah, so I think transparency is really important. It's about trust. So I'm only as valuable as the trust that I have from my audience, because as soon as I do something that isn't authentic to me and my brand and what I've been sort of communicating all along, I could lose them. So that's always the exercise, I think, is how to navigate this new, you know, social media world where brands are throwing money at you to integrate into your content, and just having it be authentic and real so that your audience doesn't all of a sudden go, oh wait, she just, you know, the transparency veil sort of comes down and they don't trust you anymore. So I think, I don't know what that was.
No, it makes total sense. But what about the evolvement of content? So where are we going with the content? So we started as a mean of self-expression, right? We had YouTube as a platform that reached millions of people worldwide. There was a certain style, a certain genre that really evolved very quickly. It was gaming, entertainment, and parody in kind of a new genre form that still is like by far the biggest. Are we seeing evolution now? I mean, we see lots of talent and channels coming in lifestyle. We see education. So where are we heading? Is the production value getting higher, or is it still going lower but quality up? what do you guys think?
I think people, when YouTube first started, the production quality was all awful, and then it just gradually started to go up, and now it's at the point where if you have a channel that is putting content out and the production quality isn't high, people will be like, what is this? Like, this needs to be high quality or else they're not gonna stick around. So, you know, like, when I started my channel, I'd shoot everything on a green screen in my backyard, and then I'd throw in crappy Google images in the background and stuff, and people loved it. Back then, it was like, oh, that's cool, like, that looks good. But if I did that now, everyone would be like, well, that's weird. Like, that's not the way music videos look. So now we shoot everything to look exactly like the original music video, and, you know, people get picky on every platform. Vine as well, you know, now, you know, every Vine is edited and music is put to it, and it wasn't meant to be that, but it turned into that. And now if you see like a top Viner put out something that feels not even like edited or just like thrown together, people are like, well, that sucked. What happened to this guy? So I think it's crazy, but it's very important. Production.
Yeah, and it also does vary from content creator to content creator, because for some it can be, let's take a vlogger. Let's say you have a vlogger who talks to the camera and he's got his little webcam or whatever. That guy can't go high production value, because if he does high production, they're like, oh, this is not you anymore. Whereas Bart, myself, like as we've grown and you see our videos get better, people expect more out of you. So we can't go back and do Google images on a green screen. You know, we have to keep it at a certain bar. But the guy who talks to his audience and keeps it simple, like usually a vlogger needs to keep it very chill. And then when it comes to Vines have become edited. It has changed a lot. But then the weird thing is, if it needs to stay at a certain level. If it gets a little too high, like if it's like shot on like a 5D, or you shot something on a red camera and you take a clip out of that, and then it doesn't do as well as something that's just shot on your iPhone. Like the moment you go off the iPhone, it changes the vibe, oddly enough. For whatever reason, it is what it is. That's for Vine. But for YouTube, it's like, it can vary, but yeah, production value's gone up, and you're right. It's like, in the past, it was like, the thing was to be kind of crappy. That's how it started. It's like, just be yourself, throw on a camera and just talk, and just do this, and just be, you know. So that still works for vloggers. When I do a vlog, I can just cut on the camera and just do whatever. But outside of that, production has gone up, and now it's competitive, where it's like, you know, you got to make it good. Now, it doesn't have to be cinematic good, but you still have to put some effort into it, because the audience is just, they've gotten picky. You know?
And it has to be funny. Every time it has to be funnier and funnier and funnier, or else all the comments are, this wasn't as funny as your last one.
And that's also why Vine has gotten so ridiculous, because you look at Vine, it's 6 seconds. And so after that wore out really fast in terms of just being funny. Now if you look at Vines, it's so ridiculous, but on purpose, because you have to, in 6 seconds, go way over the bar. And like, everything's been done. YouTube, Vine, everything's been done. So you have to find a new way to do it again, and just get completely absurd with it. Like, you look at the popular page on Vine, and like, a lot of it is just absurdity. Like, it's funny, it's hilarious, but it's absurd. And the kids like absurdity. You got to be quick, make them laugh, and Vine is basically the internet's one-night stand. It really is. Funny, haha, thank you, all right, and then you got to go, you know?
Yeah, I mean, our stuff is different, because like, they have a lot of, you know, younger kid viewers and stuff like that, and I sort of tap into more of the female contingency, the you know, late 20s, or late teens, early 20s into 30s, the people who are decorating their houses and things like that. So our content is longer format. We, you know, redo entire rooms within one video and show the before and after. And so that side of things, the production value has gotten very high for us, because now people are really expecting to see those big wow transformations and to really be inspired by our content. So that's sort of the through line with what we do at Mr. Kate with our videos, is what is the inspirational takeaway from this video, as opposed to necessarily the comedy. We infuse a lot of comedic stuff throughout the video just to make it that much more approachable, and that really is our brand of transparency and fun and lightness and not taking yourself too seriously, but it is about design and style and all of that. So that's the takeaway for us, instead of necessarily the laughs.
And I mean, we discussed it earlier, formats, right? You're thinking a lot in formats. right? You're thinking on building a bigger brand.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, more than content. And can you talk a little bit about that format packaging you're doing around everything you do?
Yeah, so, I mean, well, when we say omnimedia, like it really is that approach that we have. So video is just one side of our business because we have the product line and all of that. And we also have started now approaching the videos in episodic format. So we had this series that did really well for us on YouTube, which was called OMG, We Bought a House, because my husband and I, Joey's out there, we bought a house. Super meta with our title. And it did really well, but it was episodic. So we lended sort of the traditional TV format to YouTube. And then, we have big plans just in terms of having it syndicated and all that stuff. We're in talks for a TV show. We have the book coming out, which is through HarperCollins, which, is an old school publishing house. So we have a lot of different sort of irons in the fire, and I think that the way that we view it is rather than being dependent on me having to be in the videos constantly forevermore as I get wrinkled and old and crabby, we'll kind of have this Mr. Kate umbrella that we've created, having these, the content represent sort of our aesthetic and our brand and be able to build upon that as opposed to just being dependent on me as the talent. So we really view it as an overall business.
And ALPHACAT, we've discussed, where you're heading to. Would you like to share that with us?
Yes. After this, I'm heading back to the hotel.
Oh my God! Again.
I'm an actor, classically trained, and that's why I got into social media to begin with. When YouTube came around, I saw it as a chance to get my face out there, and the whole Obama thing blew up for me, and that gave me a lot of steam. And Vine came along, and I jumped on that, and that gave me even more steam. And so now I'm segueing into film. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily migrating per se, because that would indicate that I'm leaving something, but I'm just expanding. So I'm now getting into film. My first film is out. It did really good at the film festivals. It's called Along the Roadside, by the way. It's online. It's you can check it out. But that's my first lead in a film, and Michael Madsen's in it, which is a big deal. He's a legend, and it's just weird that my first film. It's a low budget indie. But it's my first lead, and Michael Madsen is in it as a supporting, which is a really big deal for me. So it did well in the film festival circuit. It's now at the Marketplace in Cannes in May. So it's really great, and now I'm on my third film. So my goal is to get into film and television, and that's beginning to happen now. And it's all because of what I slaved over for years on the internet. So, but I will always continue to build my YouTube, Vine, social media presence in general.
Bart, would you like to?
Stuff in the works. I'm actually going to start doing original music with a producer named Dr. Luke. He's rather large. He found my parodies, and he wanted me to make some parodies of his artists. And then we just started talking to him, and he's like, well, why don't we just make original music, like hit music, but let's put a comedic spin to it, so we can have viral videos that go with the songs. But they're actually like good songs, like top 40 type stuff. So that's gonna happen within the next few months. So that's very exciting. And besides that, getting into acting in TV shows, films, hosting shows, I'm very good at that. So because at the end of every video, I have to be like, hey, yo, what's up, guys? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here. So after you do that 700 times, you learn how to just host in front of a camera. So there's so many doors that open from having a large following. It's crazy. You get opportunities to invest in applications that are coming out, and then they have and then you help grow the application. And there's so many cool things on the horizon. It's almost overwhelming, but it's all because I started uploading videos in my backyard on a green screen, and it worked. So it's awesome.
We have a few minutes left. I think we should really open for questions from the floor. There's a question down here. There's another one. I don't know. Is there anyone with mics or just down here on? Yeah. Thank you.
Anil Banwari from India, Indian television. Does the pressure get to you of, you know, meeting your fans' needs, connecting with them, communicating with them. There's millions of them out there. What if you piss off one of them? What if you piss off few of them? Does the pressure get to you?
It can happen sometimes. The funny thing is you can have millions of fans commenting and patting you on the back, say, this is great. And you can have one person go, you know, I've been following you for a long time, and this one, I thought, this one's just not your best. And you're just like, oh, it just hurts your feelings. So it matters. Like, it really does, because without them, you wouldn't have the audience and the traffic. So it can get to you, and like, it really becomes a thing of like, you know, what do you guys want? And we try to give that to them. So it definitely gets to you. It matters.
So it definitely, I mean, I guess the term is trolls. There's a lot of trolls out there on the internet that just either say mean things to be mean and they're unhappy and, I mean, probably look like a troll at home. That's how I imagine them when I'm letting it not sting me. But it can sting, but after a while you develop a thick skin and you just realize that it's gonna happen, and with the increase of numbers, you're gonna get the increase of, you know, thumbs down and all those things. I would say that it does deplete me a little bit in terms of the energy that I need to put towards commenting back, because like what I was talking about before about just being transparent and being really real, I like to communicate directly with people as opposed to, I mean, we have a staff and, you know, pay people to comment back and stuff like that, but I would rather do it in person. And so it's a lot of work. I'm sometimes really exhausted and I need to like turn off my phone and take some me time, because it can be spiritually draining, but it's what you gotta do.
I mean, I read the comments when I first put the video up for like the first 30 minutes, and then I don't read them ever again. Because most of the comments on my videos are fans who are butthurt, who found the video, and they're like, how could you make fun of Justin Bieber? I'm gonna come to your house and kill your family. Stuff like that. So instead of getting annoyed by that, I actually made an entire series about it called Butthurt Comments, and now I think people are doing it even more because they want to be in that series. So now all my comments are basically negative. So, but I get tons of thumbs ups and barely any thumbs down. So it's funny because the people who take the time to comment usually want to say something negative as opposed to something positive. So that's just kind of how YouTube is. So I'm used to it.
We have time for one more question.
Angela, can you hear me?
There we go.
Oh, cool. I'm Angela with the MIP blog. You were talking about Snapchat earlier and how it's really big and it makes people like crazy and obsessed with it. So as a result of this, everybody's like obsessed with Snapchat and the ephemeral content movement and what does it mean. As people who've been creators for years, who are under pressure to produce things with high production values, who I assume like are proud of your body of work and everything that you've done, do you have a position on sort of ephemeral content, where it fits, where it's going?
I love Snapchat because of the freedom to just be super real. The fact that it expires in 24 hours is so low pressure. So like we spend so much time making our videos look beautiful. I spend time editing my Instagrams with the perfect filter. Snapchat is just like, bleh, and then it expires in 24 hours, and I love it. And our audience loves it too, because everyone identifies with that sort of, you know, human side of being a wackadoo. So yeah, I like it.
Snapchat is almost like a vlog kind of for us, right? You use it to just show what you're doing every day. I mean, kids use it to like send almost in place of text messages now.
Dick pics.
Oh yeah, tons of dick pics. If you're a girl, you'll get tons of those. Also a guy. So don't check the pictures you're getting. I just use it for the stories, and it's the exact same thing. It's so nice to have one platform where I don't have to take time to make it all polished. And the only thing I will do on Snapchat, though, is you can draw on the pictures. So I do get kind of creative with those. I got a stylus, and you can draw some funny stuff and make yourself look real weird. And, you know, people love that, too. So.
Ditto, same thing. It's just Snapchat, you know, different platforms. Vine, you got to be polished. YouTube, you got to be polished. Vine or Snapchat, you can just throw it up and just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you guys have seen us using our phones, we're not rude. We're Snapchatting, and you know, so it's just follow us. So yeah, it's just something fun to do, and every platform is different. Like I use Twitter. Twitter is like probably one of my most uncensored platforms because like I just kind of get to be myself. I can just put up a thought. Snapchat, I can put up a thought. Vine, I have to really think about it. YouTube, I have to really polish it up. So you know, it depends on the platform, but yeah, love Snapchat.
Okay, I think time has run out, so, okay, last question, then that's it.
Is it working? Oh, my name is Ahmed Abbas. I run an MCN in the Middle East. So I was just wondering, guys, if you look at views coming from around the world. I'm sure most of you are coming from the US, so I was wondering what comes after the US for you? What is the most important market that you look at views from?
I think for me, it's US, and then it's the United Kingdom, and then Australia. I get a lot of views from Australia. And then I can't remember the rest of them in the order, but you know, it's all English speaking right now that are the highest. But hopefully that'll change. YouTube is actually implementing this thing where you can put in custom music tracks, and so like for example, I could upload a parody, and then I could also upload the Spanish version, and they can select the song. So that's going to be really cool for expanding to other countries. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually pretty global with our views. A lot of South America, Australia, Europe. I think we're super visual with our content because it's how-to and DIY. So we have, you know, visuals to go along with it. So in regards to the language barrier, at least there's a way to visually see what we're conveying. And then I always do a blog post to go along with every video that we put out so that people can go and look at the pictures there as well. So there's, you know, when we produce a video, it's coming out, you know, in all different kinds of ways. So in terms of the future, definitely would love to get all over. I mean, the internet's global and digital media is global. So it's really cool. It's actually really inspiring to see how many foreign fans I have. I would never have been able to communicate with this many foreigners otherwise. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's the internet's reach is really like unusual sometimes because mine is the same. It's like U.S., United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, but then there's like random things like the Philippines. I don't know why I'm in the Philippines, but then there's the Philippines, or there's like Guatemala. It's just really random stuff. I was in a bar the other day, and like these 3 guys stopped me. They just freaked out. They're like, "Oh my God, you're ALPHACAT. We're from Saudi Arabia. He's from Qatar." And I'm just like, "Why do you know me?" But it gets out there, you know. And I've been to Dubai, I've been to Qatar, and like there were people there that just stopped me, just, you know, hey, I was at the airport, a layover in Munich, a bunch of kids. Hey, it reaches the most unusual places, which is great though, you know. So it's just mostly, you know, top 3 is like US, UK, Australia, Germany, but then there's just random countries just that shout you out and show you love, and I love it.
I actually have my statistics right here. United States, United Kingdom, Philippines is number 3. Then Canada, Australia, Mexico. So, interesting. I didn't Philippines, man.
We're going to the Philippines.
Yeah,
Big.
let's go.
Field trip.
Sounds like a movie.
Fantastic.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
That's why.
Love it.
We got to go.
All right, let's put our hands together for this awesome discussion. Thank you, RENÉ, Bart Baker, Mr. Kate, and ALPHACAT.